All right, 5 o'clock.
Okay, I will call the meeting to order for the Historical Preservation Commission on today, February 6th, 2005. I need an approval for the minutes for January 25th.
I'll approve the minutes.
I'll second them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, that carries over. And now we're looking into old business, of which we have none. So we'll move on to new business at this moment. Is there anybody in the public that wants to come forward and say anything? Okay. So,
Madam Chairman,
yes.
I'm going to need to recuse myself.
Yes, you are. Yes, sir, please. Okay, so we have a request for certification of appropriateness on 525 Porter Avenue. Is there someone in the audience that's here representing? Do you want to come up to the podium and tell us your name and your address?
My name is Josh Hurdle, and our address is 525 Porter Avenue.
Okay. And do you have anything for us, Wade?
Just it's requesting two additions to the house. Of course, the house is existing already, and one is to include a 4-foot aluminum black metal fence, on the front, and also add skirting around the house. So there's photos in your report that show what is skirting will look like, and fences of that sort are consistent with the historic district regulations, historic district guidelines, rather, as opposed to a wooden type fence, which would probably not be in character with the area. Also, the skirting, you see the photos of that, is vertical and horizontal lattice be added to it, and that is preferred over the horizontal diagonal type because it is more in keeping the horizontal and vertical are more in keeping with the historic guidelines and the types of skirting that was constructed on houses in the earlier part of the last century. So from that standpoint, I think the two requests appear to be consistent with the historic district guidelines. Now, if there's anything you might want to add to that?
Yeah, you all good?
Thank you. Go ahead.
Does anybody have any questions in regards?
I just want to make sure on the fencing that it is within guidelines.
Absolutely, yes, it is. Absolutely.
How tall is the fence going to be?
4 feet. That's consistent with our overall development code regulations. Front yard fences.
Are there any more questions? Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the certificate of appropriateness for this address.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That carries. Thank you. It'll be presented to the Board of Aldermen is it next Tuesday or the Tuesday after?
Be the Tuesday after, be the,
It'll be
this week, so it'll be the
18th. The 18th.
Retirement will do that to you.
Yeah. So the 18th is when it'll be presented at the Board of Aldermen. You don't have to attend, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. You're welcome. Okay, we have a second request for certification of appropriateness on 1406 Bowen Avenue. And you need to recuse yourself. Do we have someone in the audience that is representing? Okay. You could come up and state your name and your address, please.
James Waddell, and 1406 Bowen.
Okay. And you have for us on this?
This is a metal accessory structure And a good point of the application, the paint is to match that of the house. I would just point out one correction that it indicates on the staff report that's the old Ocean Springs Historic District. That's actually the Bowen Avenue
Yeah.
Historic District, which is recognized as more, I guess, a more working class, more eclectic type mix of houses, as opposed to the more traditional historic districts. So from that standpoint, a painted metal building is more in keeping with the character of it than other areas would be.
And we're just painting it the same color of the rest of the house? Okay. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Well, to be honest with you, it came with a color that very closely matched my house,
Okay,
and so it'll be a factory paint.
Okay.
okay, but it's gonna match?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
with white trim like that.
The same white trim that you have, perfect. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the COA for 1406 Bowen in the addition of an outbuilding as described and depicted in this application.
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, so it goes forward. Same thing.
Should I go in front of the council?
It will go on the 18th. You're welcome to attend, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
Typically, they're on the consent agenda and approved with several other items at the same time. And, you know, the one will be there if you want to, if they say questions, but it's not a requirement, just like.
Curiosity would be nice.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our third, which is also a request for certification of appropriateness for 314 Jackson Avenue. Do we have someone present for that?
I'm Harlan Trim at 314 Jackson, privileged to be there.
Thank you so much for coming. Do you have any information for us on this?
Again, this is a small extension to the existing garage. We've got some photos in the report that show what it's looked like. And as I understand it, it's be like a 8-foot.
8 by 20 kick, I call it a kick out. That property built first and started about 1860. They had a 10-foot backyard and a 400-foot front yard. So you can't put anything in the backyard. So I call this a kick out. That is, that it will have a roof that goes underneath the eave of the existing garage roof, come out that 8 feet plus a little hangover. And it's just gonna provide more storage for me. And it's going to, from the beach, it will look exactly as it does right now because I'm going to move the windows that are in the garage, the windows in the garage just right out into the kick out.
Oh, okay.
And so it'll, from the beach, one could not probably even tell that it's there. And I'm going to put the windows, the exact same windows, and the storm shutters on that as well.
Okay. And I guess it's going to be still a metal roof, just like the.
It is just, it's going to match the roof that's on top of the garage, exact, yes.
Perfect. Does anybody on the board have any questions? Do I have a motion?
I have a move to approve the COA for this address.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So forth carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and also if you want to attend the meeting on the 18th, you may, but you don't have to.
I've attended meetings for 50 years, and I'm going to get that one.
I don't blame you, sir. Have a nice evening. Okay, and the last we have on the agenda is also a request for a certification appropriation for 921 Ocean Avenue. It's First Presbyterian Church to replace 3 wooden windows. I need to recuse myself because I'm a member of this church, so. Would you mind?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have a representative present to present this? Who?
I guess not.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be somebody, you know?
It's fairly straightforward. I mean, if you have some questions, then we could defer it to the next meeting, or I mean, if you're comfortable with what they're asking and what the information is provided, we go ahead and discuss it and make a motion if you feel appropriate.
I told them five, I thought I told them five, but
It is replacing 3 windows on the south side of the building, the education building. But they are wood windows right now, and the proposal is to replace them with vinyl windows, but of similar appearance to what's there. Also similar to other existing windows on the church education building. It's preferred by the historic district guidelines, you know, to be replaced with wood windows. However, I think given the climate, this is something that's gone before the historic commission in the past, is that given our climate and the situations around here, vinyl windows have been approved by the historic commission in the past, simply because they are have a higher, they're better able to withstand the humidity and the sun and salt that we have here. That's not, I think, all I could add to it. Again, like I said, the proposed windows are similar in overall appearance to what's there right now.
As for me, I agree with Wade that it's pretty straightforward. I don't see any reason for them to have to be here. I suggest we proceed.
Mucha. The biggest question I had is answered in the findings, if anybody else had it, and that is the replacement windows will match the design. If you spend some time in Jackson, there's a big thing about the replacement of any wood window on the exterior of a building. It is a matter of, it's a big no-no up there. However, Jackson doesn't have the same kind of climate that we do. They don't have the same demands and so forth. So I can't picture anything other than the replacement of that wood window and the simple matter that it is, according to MDAH, an issue. I think here in Ocean Springs, we're probably going to have to decide on our own. So with that said, does anybody else have any questions before we?
I have no question, but I would say that all of Mississippi has to deal with humidity, right?
Yeah.
And that has an effect on wood
Yes, it
buildings,
does.
certainly, especially if they're not well-maintained, constantly updated with the paint and all that stuff. So in this particular case, though, using the vinyl windows is going to improve the condition of the building, add to its longevity, and the design of it so closely matches what's there that I really don't have an issue with the windows that they're going to replace, with the materials that they're replacing it with. So I think it's a smart move.
Any further discussion? All right, do we have a motion?
I'll move the COA for the replacement of 3 wood windows and 3 vinyl windows.
We have a motion, and do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Do we need to bring that?
Oh, did you want to say? I guess.
We need to
No,
bring
no,
that.
was that with the first press?
Yes. Yes.
So great words for
Do we need to bring the
press.
Pullman up?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
I think also, well, yeah, let's bring that up first, if you don't mind, just take care of that item.
Sure.
Did,
better recuse myself.
We all are recusing ourselves today.
I had a request that just came in today by the email. This is on the Pullman building that's currently under construction across the street from Marshall Park on Robinson at Church.
That's the color they want,
And
those windows.
they're in the process of painting the main body of the building right now. And in looking at the paint, they wanted to make a slight change, a slight revision to the color of the paint they're using for the trim. You can see there the one that they've chosen is slightly greener. There's not much difference between them, but the architect for that, the developer, would like that to be just get approval from the HPC. And I told them that if I could bring it to them, bring it to y'all this evening, and if you felt it was a minor amendment, we could take care of it in-house. Otherwise, they would need to get on next month's Historic Commission agenda for a change to it. But it is, like I said, it does appear fairly minor change in the overall color scheme. The photo of the building itself is the approved color scheme. The other photo is the change they want to make.
Is the change in the color of the window frames or shutters or both?
The window frame, as I understand it, is the window frame itself.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? So it
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you. I'll let them make it. We love it.
Okay, and the last thing that we have on the agenda today is I made a phone call to Melanie Allen for HOSA, the Ocean Springs Historical. And the reason I did that is because I would like us to have the opportunity to work with our community when it comes to our historical homes. I think that there could be possibility where we have homes that are brought up that we don't know a whole lot about, and we would have a reference to talk to someone. And after speaking with Melanie, I thought it would be nice if we had someone from HOSA that could be here at our meetings and vice versa, so we have more of an understanding of what's going on in the community. One of my biggest things for being on this board is that I think we only have so many historical homes that are left that we can preserve, and anybody that can help us to preserve them, I think would be a wonderful asset for us. So I've asked her to come to talk to us a little bit and see if this is something y'all would consider for us. Thank you for coming, Melanie.
Absolutely, thank you. I'll make a comment about Bonnie's remarks first, and then I have some personal comments I'd like to make. But Historic Ocean Springs Association would be delighted to be a source of reference for you all. We have wonderful members like yourself, like Wade, and we're kind of all over the place in the areas that we choose to protect and be involved in. Everything from scholarships to Marshall Park to the interpretive signage project that we have, and that we're expanding because we got a secondary grant for that too. So I'm a board member. I've just rotated off as president of Jose, and the new president is Randy Hagan. Madison Talley with Tall Architecture is the vice president. Catherine Sweatman and Peggy Stowers are secretaries. Susie Gulledge is treasurer. And then the other members at large include me, Tracy James from East Ocean Springs. We like having her involved now. Michael Goodwin. We've got a great group. You are always welcome at our meetings, and should you ever need any reference that we can assist with, we are more than happy. Jose started in 1989. We have done various community projects, and the value of all our projects at this point is $875,000 that we put back into Ocean Springs. So we kind of go together, and as we're facing change and growth, it's kind of a natural pairing. So I appreciate that, and I'm happy to bring that back to the board, and maybe we can all get together at some point. So, as just me, just as Melanie Allen, 1924 Kensington, these are my remarks for tonight, and I thank you for giving me a chance to address your board. I'm not going to take too much time. My goal tonight is to perhaps plant seeds of thought with you all in hopes that it'll grow into something beneficial for Ocean Springs. And again, my comments tonight don't represent any other organization. It's just me. I consider Ocean Springs a very rich town, and we have a richness that has very little to do with economic status. We are blessed by God with an abundance of natural capital. All of us who lived here through and after Hurricane Katrina, we learned how quickly great losses of natural capital can occur. Losses of extraordinary architecture, of irreplaceable heritage trees, of valuable infrastructure, of fixed assets, and of people who we lost or those who relocated. All of these things changed our community forever. In my opinion, or my humble opinion, Ocean Springs is rich in 5 principal forms of capital. We have an excellent and well-managed financial capital that is managed by the city. We have manufactured capital that is human-produced assets like roads, houses, buildings, human capital that is individual and collective, and the application of humans' intellectual skills in growing Ocean Springs. We have social capital, where we have relationships, social networks, just like we're talking about adding, and cultural beliefs and traditions that promote community and cooperation. And finally, natural capital, which is an economic metaphor for the physical and biological natural resources found on Earth. I do understand that you all are a recommending authority only, and that the final decisions are made by the board and the mayor. My intent this evening is to ask that your commission give consideration to perhaps expanding the areas of recommending authority that you are charged with, and to include some forms of capital, both natural and human man-made, which I believe are so important to the overall wealth of Ocean Springs, and makes us such a unique and extraordinary community with an impressive quality of life. The 2 areas of rich capital which I would ask you to consider developing some form of protection are homes designed by architect builder Carol Ishii, and 100-year-old heritage trees that are in our tree canopy but are also registered with the statewide Société des Arbres, which is the Society of Trees. The Society of Trees was begun in 1971 by Ethlyn Connor, who was the wife of the mayor at that time, Pat Connor. And the purposes of the organization were to preserve all species of trees which possessed a living association with historical events in the area, and which by their existence enhance the aesthetic and environmental values. To be considered on that registry, a tree must be a single trunk, must be at least 36 inches in diameter in size at 4.5 feet. And that is used as the rule of thumb because it's assumed, especially with live oaks, that any tree with a diameter of 36 inches represents 100 years of growth. The tree must be nominated to be registered with the society, and the official statewide registry of all trees, including all over the state and all those that are registered in Ocean Springs, is established and maintained in the archives of the Garden Clubs of Mississippi. I believe it's on their website, actually. I believe trees on this official registry should require special protection within the purview of the Ocean Springs Tree Committee, and also perhaps from this commission. Local history is carried in the rings of those trees. Preserving these trees helps future generations learn of their historic significance and enjoy all the benefits they provide. The second form of Ocean Springs capital, which I believe is worthy of additional consideration and protection, are the homes designed and built by Carol Ishii. The properties that this lawyer, designer, builder, who was not an architect, the ones that he constructed, they remain some of the most treasured and valued homes in Ocean Springs. There are pockets of his genius on Lover's Lane, on Nelson Drive, off Brumbaugh, and on Ward and Magnolia. Carol Ishii's homes have been lauded by the Mississippi Department of Archives and History, studied by architectural conferences, and have a style belonging uniquely to Ocean Springs. I recently watched one Ishii home as it was demolished rather than repaired by its new owner. I am a huge believer in personal property rights, and the owner had every legal right to demolish that house. Had there been a layer of review, perhaps earlier in the permitting process, identifying the intrinsic value of that unique Ishii home, perhaps the owner might have made a different decision. Amongst the existing natural capital in Ocean Springs, there is a limited number of Carol Ishii homes and a limited number of century-old historic trees registered with the Société d'Arbres. Not all of either group can be saved for Ocean Springs' future, but I believe it's worth a try. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Again, thank you for considering, I'll go back and wear my Jose hat now. We would love to work with you all if we can in any way.
So they would be like an advisory board, or?
They would be like advisory to us, meaning simply, they have way more information than we probably have at our fingertips. So if we had a situation or if we needed more information about something, we could refer to them. My goal was, as I had stated to Melanie, is I like the opportunity for us to have more community help in certain things that they find that they love in the community. And since we are working with historical, and unfortunately for us, we don't have a whole lot of historical because of all the hurricanes and such, I think that there's enough people in HOSA who would be able to help us maintain and considering things that would be coming up, especially with all of the development that we've had happening. So it's not so much that they will have the vote, but they'll have the opportunity to guide us and give us information. Is that fair?
I think that's very well said, and it could be if you have an application or something and you want to ask some questions about the history of the house, perhaps we can be of avail.
Right.
Ray Belandi is the ultimate authority unless you're going to have Ray sitting here at every
Right.
meeting.
Which I would be,
It's not a bad
I
idea.
would love to have Ray Belandi sitting here at every meeting. He's wonderful. But I feel like with all the growth going on in this community and the limited resources we have of historical homes, I think it's a natural pairing at this point. So that's my thought on this.
I'm just curious, do you know how many Ishii houses do we have?
You know, if I've been smart, I'd have looked that up.
Oh, well, I was just curious. I was just
I'm
really
going to
curious.
estimate fewer than 60.
Oh, wow.
60?
I think. The last big exhibit of his work that I saw, I think it's around that number. And they're being, it changes all the time.
And there are important works of other architects in this town that also need to go on a list. I think the Alliance could be excellent and beneficial for all of us. I think because the commission has very legally defined authority and places to reach out and so forth, things that we can and cannot do. Would it be possible to look into the legality of having an official liaison between the two organizations and that person be? I mean, we'd have to check that out with the legal department, but
Right, check that with the city attorney's office about how to go about, if it's possible, how to go about doing it.
yeah. But I would think that having an official liaison would be excellent, and have them included on our mailing list for upcoming COA requests. It sounds like a great thing, and I think there are other things that we could do that kind of fall through the cracks. The historic plaques that have to come from MDAH and so forth. We are completely prohibited from going into that and raising funds and so forth, but between the two organizations, we might be able to do something meaningful.
That was exactly how I was looking at this. Is I think it's an opportunity for us to work more in a dynamic situation of being able to help cultivate and continue to have what we have in this community for historical houses. Also, when we go to Jackson for the classes and such, that would be an opportunity if someone from there wanted to go on their own dime, etc., they could also come and attend. You know, so I just see it as an opportunity, more of an opportunity for us to work with the community and making sure that we are preserving what we have left.
I think it's worthy of pursuit, I really do.
If I could say, to add to those of you who may not know, the Historic Ocean Springs Group, we are a registered 501c3. And to say something to you regarding issue houses and other architects, the Mississippi Department of Archives and History, on their website, they have different collections and research areas. You can go into one area and look at predominant architects, and you can limit it to our area. And you'll see Carol Ishii, for example. Others are on there too. There are other excellent architects in this area who deserve to be mentioned and some of their work preserved. But in the different historic areas and the buildings that are on the National Register of Historic Places or Mississippi landmarks, they are all listed in the research from MDAH. And they list homes that are contributing to the historic value of the neighborhood and then non-contributing. And the Ishii homes are listed in at least 3 historic districts. And I wish y'all would take a look at that.
Yeah.
I personally live on that database, but my computer's been in boxes for 2 weeks.
You're in withdrawal.
Yes.
You're pulling my hair out. That's enough of my time.
Well, I like the opportunity with the city attorney. Wade, is there some way we could speak to him or have that at least, floated over to him with his thoughts on that?
Certainly is. I can contact him about that. I think it would be, might be just good for y'all to pass a motion to do that, and to request that I do that, or request that the city attorney be consulted with regard to that, and I can contact him and go from there.
Then I will make a motion that we ask Mr. Wade to make that inquiry with the city attorney office and get an official ruling that that will be fine, above board, and not beyond the confines of what we do as a commission.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. No opposed.
Okay. Well, Melanie, thank you so much. I'm so glad. I've been speaking to Melanie. In all transparency, Melanie and I were on the Mary C board together, and she had some amazing ideas, and we got a lot of things done through that. And I was on the museum, the Ocean Springs Museum in the Mary C. I was on their board as well, and we did a lot of good things through that.
Yes.
And we were able to get some things, and there were things that even when we didn't agree on it, we were able to come to a good conclusion. So I like the opportunity to have that with this. I think we have a lot of people who love our community so much and want to have some type of voice. So I appreciate you so much for coming and doing this for us.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you
So,
for your
thank you.
service.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else on the agenda?
Just to remind you that, I think you kind of mentioned, the Preservation Boot Camp
Oh, yeah.
is April 23rd to 24th in Jackson, and it is a requirement that at least one member of the Historic Commission attend that in order to maintain our status with the state as a Historic Preservation Commission. I think. Yeah, to say we would.
I can email the
That'd be great.
information to you guys.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Um,
I'll have to talk to my husband, but I think that I'll be able to go to that. So,
Okay. That is something we have.
okay. Anything else?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Right here.
Thank you. Oh,
Very nice
one other
job.
thing, well,
Thank you so much,
yeah, you don't have
guys.
to be in session. Do y'all have a preference about the time and
Yes.
when y'all meet? Is 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock is killing me.
6? What's the preference?
I vote 6.
Yes. Second.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. They had asked me, and I said I'd rather have the committee pick it, because, I mean, I can make anything work, so either works perfectly well.
I'm very flexible as well, so 6 o'clock works for me.
Okay.
6
Well,
o'clock is great.
I feel bad about that because
No,
the city employees have already been here all day. And move it to 6, but 6
It's all about you, Mike.
is so much.
you're one of our most important members, so I need you to be here,
That's a
so.
good point.
Is that
And is
mean,
the
In the applicants.
first Thursday,
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, do you have a preference on the, which Thursday of the month it is?
First Thursday seems to work really, really well in how it falls in with the Alderman's meeting and so forth, so.
Okay. We'll stick with the time, the date, and we will move the next meeting to 6 PM.
And please update the website with that.
Yes,
Because the public will want that information.
Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you so much.
And I'll email y'all all the information.
Can I have